So no need for a intro part on this video because I already showed the shorts version. So if you're in this video, you're after the recipe. Okay, so let's not waste time. Let's immediately get to the build. But if you haven't seen the shorts video, let me give you a quick tour of the build. Okay, basically this is 100% the base body. Everything on the base body is G.I. Joe Classified Series Airborne. For this mod to be possible, you need to get 2 Airborne action figures. Well, that's not going to be a problem since some Walmarts would offer this guy at a discounted price. So just head out to your local Walmart and I hope you're lucky that you'll be able to snag this for clearance price. So let's get to the action figure. What parts are not G.I. Joe Classified Series Airborne? The rifle, that's Action Force Valaverse. The pistol is G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Scarlet. The backpack, G.I. Joe Classified Series Grunt. The radio holder is G.I. Joe Classified Series Tiger Force Flint. The radio comes from my 1:6 scale loose action figures parts lot. Okay, so the backpack comes from Apex Legends, the female medic, which was highly available at Ross last holiday season or Christmas season. The mic on the helmet, that is not a airborne piece, that comes from Action Force Valaverse. Okay, so the rest of the items on this action figure is airborne. So let's start with the modifications on the head unit. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the head unit or the ACH helmet. ACH helmet. So we cut off the chin straps, plastic chin straps, replace them with elastic cordage. So just cut the right length, not the exact length, but the right length, and apply a little bit of super glue to the joining ends and just stick it to the back of the peltors, left and right, of course. So very easy task. With regards to the Action Force Valaverse mic, so cut it off from the peltors and with an X-Acto knife, put the make use of the end to drill a hole on the 7 o'clock position of the peltors. And with a little bit of glue, just apply and stick it in. That easy. Now the reflectors. Where did I get those reflectors? So I used to be a home health nurse. So that's Durapor 3M tape that I use for dressing changes. So I still have a lot of this, and once you apply it to things, actually they're very shiny, they look like reflectors. So that's it. So this packet, where did I get this packet from? The counterweights for the quad nods or night vision optics. So that thing comes from G.I. Joe Classified Series Lieutenant Falcon, one of the packets that is placed on the Y harness of Lieutenant Falcon. So with an X-Acto knife, just cut it off and try to do a retrofit for the back of the helmet. So take note of the curvature or the cut. That's how you're going to do it properly. So it's going to sit nice and flush on the back of the helmet of Airborne. Now the quad nods I did some modifications, but nothing really fancy to the quad nodes. Okay, so here is the base quad nodes, and let's take this set of the action figure. Okay, so this is going to be the base quad nodes. So the hanger for the quad nodes is actually very long. Okay, so this is the thing that is issued once you take it out of the box. Now this is my quad nodes version for Airborne. So the excess hanger material, just X-Acto knife it. Cut it off, and the ends, of course, just paint it black with whatever paint material that you have on board. Nothing specific. If you like to use a Sharpie, then use a Sharpie. Okay. So with the glass material on the quad nodes, I just painted them once again with silver. So I use silver nail polish. So also the back ends of the nodes. Now some modification is also needed on the connector. So this is how the connector looks. So I also X-Acto knife this portion of the connector to take off excess material. So this is how it looks. There you go. So for comparison purpose, yep. So once the excess material is off, actually you could do whatever fitting that you wish to do. So have it like this, like just like the real thing, wherein of course it's on a hinge. So the operator could pull it up that way, pull it down that way. So with the excess material off, actually it sits deeper, the peg sits deeper onto the helmet. So giving a more realistic or more tight-fitting look for the quad nodes. And it looks more snappy, of course. And if you want it to be retracted all back, just easy. So just do that. So it rests on top of the helmet. So very easy modification. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do these mods. Just with an X-Acto knife, just take off some of the excess plastic, and there you go. You have a very nice looking ACH helmet. Don't need to buy another helmet for Airborne. Okay, so next item, modifications on the vest. So from the other vest which I have from this action figure, so we harvested the grenade. So this guy now sports 2 grenades on the left and the right. I also took off the knife. So instead of having a knife that's removable on the front part of the vest, it's just a molded piece. So this comes from the Lieutenant Falcon Y harness. Anyway, the Airborne knife also is very flimsy, but of course if you want to have that knife changed, very easy from any of the knife sets that third-party accessories make, or from G.I. Joe Classified series. There are some knife sets that are also good, so you could do it. But what I had in mind was to have another blue pouch on this section of the vest, because if you have an Airborne figure, it only has one pouch on the vest. It's just going to be actually Oops. It's just going to be actually this. So my add-ons are not just only the grenades, but I also added 2 brown packets for the magazine. So this I harvested from the other vest. So that's the reason why I have to look for a knife that would allow this type of modification. Plus, I wanted something simple instead of having a accessory knife over here. I just didn't want it. I want a vest that's plain and simple. So there you go. So instead of having just one mag pouch for the AR-15 rifle, he now has 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's some type of balance to the vest. So we have 2 brown packets, 2 blue packets, 2 grenades, and of course from the other action figure, if you take a look at this side, it's devoid of the rank insignia. On this side, it's devoid of rank insignia because this guy now sports rank insignias left and right. So very easy with a hair dryer. Just take off the shoulder ball joint, just this section, disassemble the arm and harvest just this section and place it on this other side and just snap in the other arm set, and there you go. So very simple modification. So what else? So moving to the belt. So the belt has a medical kit, and I also added the 2 pouches from the other belt. So I cut it off and place it on the back. There you go. So this now sports 4 small packets or pouches. So somehow that makes the belt of the action figure balanced. Okay, so pistol, I already explained the where this pistol came from, but the suppressor, so that's another thing. Okay, so the suppressor of Airborne, actually both ends are hollow, which would allow for either the suppressor to be used with the Airborne pistol or the Airborne primary weapon. But since we're not using that weapon system nor the side arm, so this is from Retro Scarlet, and take a look at the fit. Very nice fit. And what did I do to this suppressor? So Scarlet has several bows on board. So for this suppressor to fit the end of this pistol, I just cut one of the arrows that comes with Retro Scarlet and glued the end to the suppressor. And of course, excess plastic, you have to X-Acto knife it off. So when you're going to take the Scarlet pistol, okay, it's going to be a perfect fit. There you go. Okay, so you have a secondary weapon system that has a suppressor on it and a primary weapon system that is also suppressed. Okay, so let's take a look at the Action Force Valaverse AR-15 rifle. So configurations on this AR-15 rifle, it's going to be the suppressor that is attached to it. So actually I converted this into an SBR because actually it had a longer barrel and a flat dark earth or tan suppressor attached to it, but I chopped it off and I use the G.I. Joe Classified Series barbecue handgun accessory. So that handgun accessory had the end, actually the barrel looks like a suppressor. So I cut it off, and with a drill bit I made a hole for the barrel end of this Action Force AR-15, and applied a little bit of super glue to the cut off end of the barrel of this AR-15 and jammed that in. So that's simple. Now the flashlight accessory that's on top, that comes from G.I. Joe Classified Series Tiger Force officer, so Cobra officer. So the AK-47, that is the attachment. So I just glued that on top. So we have a flashlight, a Trigicon ACOG, an RMR on top of the Trigicon ACOG. You have a suppressor on the barrel, so when you're firing the weapon system, when the lights are off or it's dark, it's not going to kill off your quad nodes, because of course excess light kills off night vision optics. Okay, so as for aiming devices, let's think of this as a illuminator and a non-visible laser. So that is already standard Action Force Valaverse accessory that is included with this weapon system. As for the magazine, that comes from a Marvel Legends AR-15 rifle. So of course that's gummy plastic. Just cut it off and make a retrofit, so it's going to fit the magazine well of the Action Force Valaverse accessory. So it's going to look like this. So instead of having a very small or puny magazine from Action Force Valaverse, you have a more realistic looking magazine. That's also FDE. That is if you have that Marvel Legends accessory, or that AR-15 that comes with an M203. Usually it's paired with a Punisher action figure. So that's it. And very easy with your marker pen, permanent marker pen, just do panel lining on the magazine, on the Picatinny rails, and on the vents of the handguard. So just a little bit of paint, of course, on this back end too. So as you could see, nothing very fancy. So we're back with the other action figure that I stripped off of accessories. So my point is, with this action figure, take a look at the padding material on the elbow. So of course, as you could see, it's painted brown. But look what happens when you do bend that elbow. So that's going to happen left and right. So once you break that bend, or that elbow I mean, that's going to break off the paint. Very unsightly. So I hope that they just left this without color, and the top section too. But is this something that could be remedied? Yes, with a little bit of acetone you could do it. So acetone solution on those elbow pads. So we have the modded figure. So there you go. I took off the paint, so when I break that elbow for a bend, has a very clean look. And of course, the last thing that I did was to cut off the plastic material on this section of the belt. So I free the top portion of the body for movement instead of having it constrained. Okay, so that's the simple modification for a hyper realistic design, or a more tactical realistic design for G.I. Joe Classified Series Airborne. Good looking action figure. It's just the execution of the Classified Series team. It needs more refinement. So here's the recipe if you want that hyper realistic design for your Airborne action figure without shelling excess money for example, gridiron stuff. That is costly accessories if you want a Airborne upgrade, which actually I was taking a look at it and I was not very impressed. So instead of buying a $35 piece accessory pieces for upgrade for this guy, I just opted to buy another action figure set. Plus I also already had some Action Force Valor's accessories on board, so which cut down the cost for this build. So instead of hunting for the latest and the greatest, I updated this guy to a more realistic looking load out. So if you like this review, see you on the possible next video.